All right, everybody, happy July and welcome to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe and our guest from the Truro Township Fire Department. I'm going to have you guys introduce yourselves and then we're going to talk about something that may be coming up in the next couple of days. So go ahead.
That's right. I'm Chase Bryan. I'm the fire chief at Truro Township.
Dustin Mogum, the fire marshal.
There we go. So we got a lot of things. Each of you have your own different roles, but let's start with the first thing. 4th of July fireworks is coming up. Can you give us some safety tips for people, not necessarily those going into Civic Park, but just for people who might want to celebrate the 4th of July at home, and perhaps they have anything from a sparkler to what are now basically all the legal fireworks? Do you have any basic safety tips other than don't do it?
Sure. Dustin, you want to take that? Or?
Yeah, I would definitely leave most of the fireworks to professionals.
Right.
Some sparklers are okay. Obviously, always have an adult around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely got to be aware of your surroundings and making sure that you're within a safe area to do that. And you also want to be aware of your neighbors and anybody that may, former military or anybody that has the post-traumatic stress. But make sure that there's a lot of adult supervision around, and of course your local ordinance as well. That you don't want to violate any of those laws either. So
yeah, and we do have an ordinance in Reynoldsburg. You're not supposed to shoot them off except again on the 4th of July, and everybody follows that rule.
Right. Water supply would be really good to have around.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you see, you mentioned that because I remember last year we had a Truro on and we talked about this and what to do and having like a bucket of water. So when you're done with the fireworks, just dump them in there.
Yep.
And then we all know that there was a house fire. Some people were doing what they thought was the best. They had all of their fireworks materials, the used ones, they had them kind of gathered in one spot. They put them in a trash bin, and then the trash bin was next to the house,
right.
And it didn't take. There was no water, and the next thing you know, their house went
up. That's correct. Yep.
It is that serious of a thing.
Yep.
Now, as far as fireworks at Civic Park, we'll get into all the ticketing and everything else like that. But from the fireworks at Civic Park, obviously, once they're established, which will be sometime, were we thinking 12-ish or 11 o'clock-ish on Thursday or Friday, somewhere around there?
Yeah, Friday. Typically the fireworks arrive around 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. So then the shooters is what we call them. They start setting everything up and getting everything ready throughout the day. So it's a long process just for that 30-minute show,
Yeah.
So we'll be there with them. Obviously, the park's closed and not open to the public at that time because of the fireworks and the setup that's going to be going on. But yeah, we're looking forward to a great show. Pyrotechnico, the company that we utilize, they do great and have done a really nice show for us in the past.
Yeah. I like it that they're fun guys to talk to when you're back there and they're getting everything set up. They were kind enough one year to let me launch one of the tester, the 5-minute countdown thing and all of that. So we can do that again this year. But they take it very seriously and they have everything set up. The fencing is already up at this point, so that way there's a perimeter out there on all of that fun stuff. So I'm looking forward to it. I know we'll be there. If there's weather involved, I know you and I, the chief of police, will sit there and go, all right, what's the plan? Do we launch early? Do we have to delay depending on when weather may come there? Because the downside is if once everything's set up, you have a very special role to play once that happens. So you're basically hoping that everything goes off as planned because if not, you got to stick around there until they do go off, don't you? The best and worst job all at the same time. So if you think you're rooting for fireworks on Friday night, I guarantee there's one person that wants it more than that. So any other common mistakes to fireworks that people should be aware of just in general about what should they know? Just have a bucket of water by them and
if you have one that doesn't go off, obviously stay away from that. Put it in a safe area, a safe location, make it known to folks, and be aware of that because that does happen.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, you brought up a good point about the house fire that we had last year. Be aware of where you're putting that.
Yeah.
And actually making sure that they're doused and they're out, and we're not dealing with the heat wave that we had in years past, or the drought, or anything like that. So, but just still be aware of where those fireworks are being let off at and everything.
All right, you said the magic word, heat wave. Apparently, it's hot outside. I don't know. Maybe if you've been out there, you kind of get that feeling. It's going to be hot today. It's going to be hot tomorrow. Any advice other than don't go outside? That's what I'm saying. Just if you can stay inside, that would be the best thing to do. But anything else?
Right. Take precautions for the heat. If you have to be outside, make sure that you're hydrating. You're drinking plenty of water, and taking plenty of breaks. And getting back out of the heat for a little bit. And be aware, like, if you're looking or working with folks that are out there, and if they're starting to act strange or different or look flushed or pale, those are all signs of heat exhaustion, and certainly we don't want that to develop into heat stroke, because that's even worse.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that. Make sure that if you're outside and you have health conditions or you're elderly, limit your time out there and be aware of that it is pretty serious right now. And so
Yeah.
yeah.
Always something good. Any questions from the audience on everything?
No.
All right, so we're going to be all set. Fingers crossed on the weather. I appreciate you guys showing up. We'll be there. I'm looking forward to it. I know Jennifer's going to be there early on Friday morning, and I'll be there not long after, bringing extra water and ice for everybody and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate
Good,
it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yep, we'll see you out there.
Yep. Have a safe and happy 4th, everyone.
Absolutely. America's 250th birthday with lots and lots of fireworks and all that fun stuff. So as we do our set change, hey, look, the chairs are gone. So we do have a lot of other things to talk about. Obviously, we have given away, I think we're over, 3,000 plus wristbands. And about 600 parking passes. So we are getting the word out. Inevitably, though, maybe somebody won't have the opportunity to get here, but we're passing out all this stuff until 8 o'clock tonight and 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So there's the parking pass that you'll get. You need that to get in. Consider it your fast pass. You have that before you go. Life will be a lot easier for you. You'll get right in. Gates will open up at 6 o'clock. And then you also have to have our wristbands on. So the wristbands are available for everybody. Again, we're focusing on residents only, but obviously there's going to be other people that will attend, but Reynoldsburg has to pick up the wristbands. And just a piece of advice for everybody out there, for parents out there, make sure you're walking with your kids. And for the kids out there, if you don't want to walk with your parents, I feel ya. I understand. I was young once too. But you got to walk with them when you go into the park, because you got to be in a group, because we're not just going to let kids in, unattended all the way throughout. So there's going to be a pedestrian access way with that, as well as traffic and things of that nature. So make sure you all come in together. This is for the benefit and safety of everybody, so we're looking forward to it. But if you did not get your parking pass or wristbands, we will have a way to divert you out to make sure you can get those things. And if you're not a Reynoldsburg resident, and well, you're probably not watching this anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but let's pretend you are. If you're not a Reynoldsburg resident, you're going to be asked to leave the park area. So it's just a very simple thing all the way around to maintain the best safe environment for everybody for the fireworks. Now, that's not the only thing we've got going on. We have on Saturday the parade. So the route is roughly Rose Hill to Haft. Usually people pick out the best areas on Saturday morning between 8 and 9 o'clock. I think those are the areas that if there's some areas with street trees, that's the first place that they go to. There's some families that they have the same spots staked out every single year. So if you want to go ahead and do that, make sure you're there. There is going to be a road closure, Rose Hill south of Main Street. So basically anything between the high school, Livingston Campus High School, and Main Street is going to have limited or no access unless you're a parade participant or resident, starting at about 8:45. The parade starts off at 10 o'clock. We've got lots of cool things there. I will give a shout out, but I can't tell you exactly what we've planned, but the city has definitely gone well overboard on this particular one. The float looks fantastic. It's a definite great way to celebrate America's birthday, so I hope you can come out and see it. Lots of other floats there as well, so we're looking forward to that. Couple cool things for Reynoldsburg City Schools. Again, the Ashton Doolin Back to School Community Day is Saturday, July 18th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and that is at the Livingston campus. So go ahead and check that out. 7th annual Mulligan Golf Tournament for Hart and the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation is going to be on Saturday, August 15th. We're going to kind of kick it off a little bit as the Tomato Festival Golf Tournament. We're going to start calling it that at Westchester Golf Course. I will be there in the absolute best costume that I can make up for a golf outfit, and then I will be headed off to the Tomato Festival. But it will not just be me. Pastor Dion Frazier will be there. State Representative Meredith Lawson-Rowe will be there to kick things off. And Lawrence Funderburk from college basketball and NBA will be there as well, because really all of us have so much in common with that right there at the golf tournament. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's $125 per golfer. You get a team for $500. They've got all sorts of great prizes, closest to the pin, longest drive, and it is all there dedicated to help Hart Food Pantry and the Reynoldsburg Education Foundation. So please, please, please check those things out. Lots of fun all the way across. Any questions about anything so far?
No.
All right, I know everybody's waiting because they want to jump on and get the the reserved seating area, so you're just going to have to wait. Reynoldsburg update for everybody, Wagner Road. All right. We're hoping this is it. Lane markings, all the pavement markings are going to be out. It's scheduled to start on Monday next week. So it's going to take about probably 2 days to mark everything on there. And once those lane markings are up, that's when the road will open from Main Street to Priestley all the way throughout. We're working with AEP to make sure that they get everything connected for the lights, for the street lighting, as well as for the traffic light, but everything is ready to go. All of the actual work is done except for the lane markings. But we have to wait for their schedule to kind of open up because they schedule those things a few weeks out. Plus, we wanted to make sure that we gave enough time to buffet everything for us to make sure that we got everything done. So Wagner Road Phase 1 is looking to be open next week. So that is the goal. Yay, we'll see. But like I said, all of that stuff has been done. Now, if it's pouring down rain Monday, Tuesday, which I don't think it's supposed to be, that's a different story because obviously the lane markings are going to be there. I think that they've said they'll probably get them all done in one day if the weather is cooperative. So we've got that one. You'll also start seeing, if you haven't already, a lot of our fire hydrants are being repainted, so they're going to be getting those out. So if there's a fire hydrant near you and you're like, wow, that needs to be taken care of, you can go onto our Engage Reynoldsburg app, go ahead and click it, and we'll make sure it's on there. You will also be able to track it on our webpage. So if you go to our webpage, you can actually go to what they call the GIS mapping, and there'll be a layer that you can select to show where all the fire hydrants that have been tested, as well as the ones that have been painted. So you can check those out. Any questions about anything so far? All right. We do have an update on our 2026 street program. So we had the first read last council meeting. We will have the second read coming up on the 13th, and then we're going to be good to go. We did get our engineer's estimate in, and in a nice way. It was less than what our engineer's estimate were, which means it came in below bid, which is always a good thing. So assuming council approves it in the next 2 weeks, we'll get that started, and then we'll have the work schedule. All of those roads that are on the webpage that you can see again on that GIS area, they will be completed before the end of this year. The only one that might take a little bit longer because we're doing the water line work is at Berkey, but they have to, our goal is to get that done before. Now, road work like this is a lot different than Wagner Road. They're going to come in and they're going to pull out the old asphalt. They're going to do a couple of small changes here and there to some of the curbs, and then they'll put the new asphalt in. So it should be relatively quick as they kind of go from street to street all the way throughout. But once we have an idea of when that's going to start, we'll be dropping off little flyers that have information on it, as well as an email address for questions. There's an on-site inspector there as well too. So if you have a question, or if they're paving at that moment in time and you needed to have your car out, they'll make sure that they take care of that for you. So we're looking forward to that one. The next big one is obviously going to be our COSI week. So the week of the 20th, we have our COSI Reynoldsburg week. So it's July 20th through the 24th. There's going to be some events all day long on the 20th, and I'll be there participating hopefully in some cool activities. There's something to do with static electricity, potentially some rat basketball, because who doesn't love that? Well, one of our staff doesn't, but she's going to be in New York, so it's okay. We'll take pictures, but it's going to be but it's going to be a lot of fun, and you get discounted admission. So if you go online and register, this will be on our website. Is it already out there yet, or is it going to be out there soon?
It'll be out there soon.
So it'll be out there
Everything
soon.
was approved today, so
Yep.
we're good to go.
So you'll go ahead and scan it. You'll get $5 off for registering buying your tickets online, and you'll get an additional $5 off for being a Reynoldsburg resident. So that'll be there. It'll be a huge thing. Really want to make sure we have a big showing out there. COSI is a lot of fun. It's summer. It's going to be in an air-conditioned environment, so it's going to be great. So check it out, and we'll be there again on that 20th. Some other fun things that we've got going on. Our next archery system is set up Intro to Archery for some ready, aim, and fun activities. It's at Spangler Field from 3 to 5 p.m., and that's going to be on Sunday, July 12th. So believe it or not, that will be here before we know it. And now we have a lot of development news, including some late-breaking news earlier. One, the recreational marijuana facility is scheduled to open up by the end of this month. Everything from the city's point of view and from their point of view is all good. They're just waiting for the final state inspections, but they're aiming to probably be able to open up late July. Once we know for sure, we'll go ahead and let everybody know, but the recreational facility at the 5-way will be open by the end of this month. The Dutch Brothers and Dentist office is finalizing their details, but that will be located at the intersection of Main and Bryce. And they've made the adjustments, so when we come in to realign the intersection, that'll be there. And while this one means a lot to me, I'm really excited. It's not in Reynoldsburg, but it's pretty close. the Value City Furniture Store on Main Street, just a little bit outside of Reynoldsburg, is going to be a Spirit Halloween this fall. So we're really excited about that. My wife is not excited about that, but I'm excited about that because we've got some decorations to do. I've already started getting a couple of decorations for the house, so we're going to be in good shape there. So they're going to be there. I'm really excited about that. And then a lot of people in the last few weeks have asked, hey, why did the Giant Eagle close? Well, we got our answer today. Kroger bought them out. Kroger has purchased for $1.65 billion. They bought out Giant Eagles. So all Giant Eagles will now be Kroger's, but all Kroger's will not be Giant Eagles. So that'll be there, and that would explain a lot about why that particular one is going on. My guess is the end of the lease was coming up. They knew this deal was moving forward, and they decided to go ahead and cut their ties at that point in time. But that explains a lot why that particular thing was meant to happen. None of it is in Reynoldsburg, but it is what it is. So, eventually we find out all things. Any questions about things like that? Nope. All right, so we've got Boot Barn signs are up, and we're waiting for the Home Goods as well, so hopefully that'll be up before the end of the summer because, especially in 107-degree heat, who doesn't need a new pair of cowboy boots? Because they're, no, Jennifer. No. So that'll be open. So we've got that. Now we've got a couple of cool community events. The first one we have is our VFW 4th of July extravaganza. That's this Saturday, so go ahead and check that out. They're going to have all sorts of activities at our VFW, and again, that's in the area where it's going to be relatively easy to get to on Widener Road, so check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Look it up on Facebook, and you can see some of the ideas in there. We also have a new event that is going to be hosted by the Civic Futures Institute and the Association of the Bhutanese in Ohio on Wednesday, July 8th, from 5:45 to about 7 p.m. at the YMCA. They're going to do a community reading of the Declaration of Independence. So they're going to be there. Council President Boone Packerell and the Civics Futures Institute will be there. The reading is not going to take that long. The reading will probably take about 15 to 20 minutes or so. And then after that, they're going to have kind of like a mingle thing and stuff like that. So you can take a look at the Y, but also talk to some of our community members. So that's a really cool thing. I'm looking forward to it. Again, a reading of the the Declaration of Independence. So that'll be pretty cool. Any questions?
Do you have questions?
Yeah, I had that look on your face like you had a question.
Yeah, regarding the Taylor Road corridor,
yes.
Will the city, sorry, let me get back up. Will the city of Reynoldsburg have any say in what will be built on the Bauman farm? I know you mentioned previously that there will not be a data center. Is that still true? The website on the real estate company handling the sale indicates it will be an industrial complex.
All right, so I will tell you all that I am legally allowed to tell you by law, and it doesn't. I'm not making this up. Please go ahead and Google Ohio Revised Code 9.66. There are very strict rules that are going to be there. So does the city control what goes in there? The city does to an extent based on zoning. It's our innovation zoning, which will be there, which can include a number of different topics. So if you go to our webpage, there's actually a thing in there that talks about everything that can go in that area. The word that they use in there, the industrial, is kind of a catch-all. This could also be office, clean engineering, research and development, scientific work, things of that nature. All of those things are allowable in there. We do not know what's going to be there, and because of this stupid law, and it is a stupid law that the Ohio State House has put in place, and it's so stupid, as a matter of fact, they've actually changed it, but the changes don't go into effect until the end of September. I can't talk about anything specific to it just yet, but they have not submitted anything, and once they do, we will make it out to make sure that everybody is there. The goal for the innovation zone in general is for job-creating businesses, anything that is where, in essence, there are people on site, where it's not a place where there's remote work. Data centers are a unique thing. I don't believe that site is large enough to hold a data center. We've been given no indication of that in that area. The data centers, they're typically looking outside of Reynoldsburg. They're definitely looking at Etna Township, Pataskil, and things like that. So those are areas out there. Data centers don't typically produce a lot of job revenue, income tax revenue, which is what we're going for. Do they have people there working in the buildings? Yes. Do they have maintenance staff working there? Yes. Do they have what we're looking for? Not really. Like, my vision has always been that it's a career-based job, that is something that people can go there and they can have a career, not just a job, but a career. I wish I could tell you more, but the state of Ohio is stupid, and they changed the rules on everything, and that's just the way it is. And I know you think I'm making it up. I'm not. Please take a look at it. Ohio Revised Code 9.66, and it'll kind of help explain some of those issues. Any follow-ups, or was that?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. All right, so that's that. Now, to have further conversations on that, we do have the next town hall is going to be July 22nd. It's at 6:30. It's going to be right here at City Hall. Usually, we'll start off with kind of like a basic understanding of city or school finances. Everybody thinks that they're kind of intermingled. They're not. Cities get their revenue from income tax. School districts get their revenue from property taxes. And so there is kind of a difference between the two, which is why you see a lot of the issues that we see in all communities in Central Ohio. And then I'll break it off to some other topics. Maybe I'll cover a couple of things that we talked about last time. Maybe there'll be some new topics that are out there, depending on what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. But definitely have those conversations, and I always take questions. So even if it's not like on an official agenda or slide deck with pictures, we still answer those questions and talk about some things. So I hope you can come out and make it to that. Any questions?
No.
Okay. We also have a walk and talk if you don't want to wait till the 22nd. We have a walk and talk on July 16th. We're going to start off at Addison and Kingsley, which is not too far from where our new Parks and Service Center is being completed. We're in the final stages of that. We're hoping to move the staff in there by the end of this month, so we're really excited about it. It's going to be a great facility. We'll have a grand opening and a reveal for all the community members a little bit later in the fall, once everything is kind of secured and we finish the road work on there to get back there. But we're really excited about it. I know the staff is really excited about it because of everything that's going on. But those are two events that if you do have questions for things, you can go ahead and bring them to us at those locations. Next up is our summer previews. It is July, so can you believe it? It's already the 7th month of the year. Time flies, and when you're having a lot of fun. So this Friday, gates are opening at 6 o'clock, but the entertainment is going to be pretty awesome. We've got music by Attaboy will be there, so they'll be there. We also will have another number of community organizations that will be doing some cool things, and as always, food trucks as well as our inflatables. Any early hints on food trucks? I know Ninja Bowl is going to be there, and I always look at Ninja Bowl.
Yeah. Gosh, Jasmine, who's your favorite that you're looking forward to?
Grilled Cheese Gangster, I thought, was on the list too. And I asked them quickly without them having it up in there because right now they're all focused on trying to make sure everybody gets into Civic Park as opposed to what the food trucks are.
I haven't looked at the list in like 2 weeks since I've been bringing
I know Bowser's Hot Dogs will be there. Yeah. Grandpa's Hot Dogs.
We're going to have a great lineup of vendors.
There you go.
I promise it.
It's going to be there. And if you came out to the food truck festival last week, once we got through with that little early bit of rain, the rest of the night was absolutely perfect.
It was a great night.
And it was a great event. Lots of opportunities. I tried a new, I think it was a cheesy, the cheesy food truck. So that was pretty cool. They had a really good chicken sandwich and things like that. So they'll be there. And then the rest of it is just going to be a lot of fun. The band's going to be there. The fireworks will start around 10 o'clock, give or take a little bit. Obviously, we'll keep an eye on what weather says, but right now that is the plan for about 10 o'clock. I'm going to be there bright and early, and make sure you bring plenty of water and because even though it's going to be in the evening, it's still going to be warm out. And then we have our next food truck festival is going to be on the 17th, where you've got Big Bad Stash, which gets bonus points for having a really cool name. That'll be on July 17th, as well as a couple of our concerts on the lawn on July 12th with Reelin' in the Ears, and on July 26th with A Hard Day's Night, the Beatles tribute band. So that'll be fun. And a special shout out to the Reynoldsburg Community Band. They came out this past weekend and they braved the weather, which was kind of a little bit of in and out all over the place. Came out and gave a nice little show with a little bit of patriotic things. And apparently John Philip Sousa only wanted to do marches for his composing structure because it was like, and here's another march from. He's like, I'm sure there's other things, but for that one it was there. Also had a little bit of a piece of fiddler on the roof, which was always fun, and everybody was kind of just getting ready to do a little dance for that one. And then this all leads up to the big one, the Tomato Festival. So we're already well involved in that, trying to make sure that we get everything on our side done. We're going to be highlighting a couple of things over the next few weeks, but obviously the big thing that everybody loves is the Tomato Wars. This year it's sponsored by the Ohio National Guard, and there's going to be a prize for first place. And it's going to be on a new night. It's going to be on Thursday night, probably kicking off not too long after our opening ceremonies, where we'll find out who the queen and king will be, as well as our senior king and queen. So that's going to be pretty good. It says something in here about reserve seating, but I'm going to skip that because nobody cares about that. Musical acts are going to kick off on Thursday with Seven Bridges and the Eagles Tribute Band, Friday with Drew Hill, and Saturday with Everclear. And we'll talk about a lot of that other stuff coming up in between. All right, so we have any questions or comments?
We have one question.
Yes.
One question we'll just, after the show go back was asking about Wagner Road updates, which you've already touched on. So afterwards, please go back and you can rewatch that.
It's going to hopefully open next week. That's a short answer.
With the police department accounting for such a large part of the city's budget, will the town hall give residents more insight into the service and incidents that are making this worthwhile investment of our tax dollars? Mm-hmm. And then also, can we get more information about the electric aggregation program and how it's performing for residents?
Oh, absolutely. Those are good ones. We'll make that one down. The real easy thing with the police department is we give you, I have like a former teacher, so I've got a pie chart and we've got it broken down, and then we do talk about it. If there's questions specific about things, like we've seen decreases in certain types of crimes and increases in others, so I can give you that kind of information, but if you're looking for anything more specific, that's fine. Just let me know, and we'll have kind of like the most common things. Believe it or not, and I know that this is kind of contrary to what a lot of people perceive, Reynoldsburg overall is a relatively safe city. Most of our criminal activity is located in a couple of different corridors. We do have some things that happen in other areas. One thing that we're unfortunately seeing a lot of is domestic violence. And I will probably dig deep into that at the town hall because it is a very nuanced thing. For those of you that are familiar or have ever known anyone who's a victim of domestic violence, not all the time do victims of domestic violence want to press charges. So there are things that we have taken in our hands to make sure that we hold people who harm significant others or those that they live with in a more severe way, just because they shouldn't be doing that. That's the quick version of everything. But those are really good topics, and the energy aggregate thing is in there as well. Obviously, energy costs are what energy costs are. You have the opportunity to pick whichever one you want to. We just typically default to this one because of certain circumstances that presented themselves. Specifically, we liked it because it is a non-for-profit agency. That's a political philosophy of mine. I don't believe we should be looking at increased costs and profit margins for some of these things. But if you don't like NOPEC or anything like that, you're able to pick something else. So definitely add those in there.
Last question. What time will roads be closed for the fireworks?
So fireworks, what time are they going to shut?
Well, we'll stop at 9 o'clock. We do a hard shutdown. If the lot fills up before then, it's going to be interesting, with Doherty pulling in. It's all going to depend on how many cars we get in and how fast we get them pulled in.
I would say
what time they're arriving. 9 o'clock is usually when we shut everything down, but if parking fills up before then.
I would say that if you want to make sure that you have a spot within the park and you have your parking pass and you have your wristbands, I'm not seeing you line up at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, though some people will start probably, I think last year there were people as early as about 4:45, 5 o'clock. If you want to sit in the car for an hour and all of that, then that's fine, but you're only going to get in starting at 6, but I would tend to try and want to be there earlier rather than later. That's probably the best and safest advice. All right. With that, that's all I got for right now. I know there'll probably be some other questions as I come in, as we get ready. Oh, yeah, the thing that I heard. Reserve seating will go online pretty much in the amount of time it's going to take for me to walk out of here and turn the show off, and then we'll go ahead and open up the window and things like that. So,
they're all waiting for me to stop this live stream so they can.
We got a lot of people on here compared to usual.
Yeah.
They want you to wrap it up.
While I have you here. No, I will not. I know there's things coming out. So there is no show next week, but the week after, on July 15th, we are going to be joined by a lot of really important people. We're going to have Ward 2 City Councilman Lou Salvati, who is probably watching the show as we speak, and he'll be talking about all things that he's dealing with as a member of City Council and some of the things that he's been working on and working with the city. And we will also have the president and co-chair of the America 250 Committee, my assistant Jessica, as well as my wife Tori will be on the show to talk about some other things that are going on with the America 250 program. And I'm sure everyone will be healthy and ready to show up at that point in time. All right, I said 12:30 is probably when I was aiming for this thing to do. We got a couple of minutes. Do we have any other questions that have come in or anything else like that?
No.
No? Okay.
Our numbers keep going up. They're waiting.
Okay. Well, I want to wait until 12:30.
I think if we have more giveaways, our viewership goes up. What can we do going forward?
Yeah, that's what we'll have to remember that. So, well, there we go. Well, for everybody watching, I appreciate you understanding the joy that is the 12 o'clock show and the opportunity to ask questions about things going on in the city, even though you really have no interest at this point. You just want to get your reserved seating. So I got you on that one. All right, so everybody, stay safe, stay respectful, be careful with fireworks. A really big shout out to the Truro Township Fire Department for showing up today. They do a great job keeping everybody safe. And for those of you that are going to celebrate the 4th of July on July 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th, please be mindful of your neighbors and friends and dogs and everything else in between with our, especially with our veterans. Be respectful. Just try and keep it contained to it, because you can get cited for it, and the property gets cited for it with some changes in our law. So even if we don't catch you doing it ourselves, we can still cite you, and every year we get a bunch of them in there. So with that,
the last second question.
Somebody's making me all suffer.
Oh, they made it.
Yes.
Update on the new water meters.
Yes, I will get the specific numbers in there. I want to say at least 2/3 to about 70% of the city has been covered with that one, but I will get an update on that one moving forward. And while you're at it, we actually will have an announcement at our next council meeting about some discounted rates for some of our economically disadvantaged. Very similar to the program Columbus does to help defray some of the costs for the water. But we will have more about that at our next show. And
I'll take one last question.
Absolutely.
And then we'll end it. It says, what are you doing to raise awareness around kidney disease?
That's a good question. We've never been presented with that, and I'd be happy to talk more about what we can do to raise awareness for kidney disease.
Yeah,
that's
perfect.
a good one.
All
All right.
right.
Everybody, off to the races. Have a wonderful time. Stay safe, stay respectful. Put your shopping carts away, and I'll see you at the reserve seating in a couple of weeks. Thanks, everybody. Happy 4th. Maybe.